So, we have another NBA trade involving the Boston Celtics, and this time they're trading for Josh Richardson, who just accepted his player option worth about $11 million. So, the Mavs just traded him to the Celtics. I believe they're getting nothing in return. It just sort of a salary dump for them and opens up cap space. And then the Celtics are taking him into their trade exception, so they're allowed to take on his money. So, yeah, makes the deal a little bit more simple. I think this is a pretty decent deal for both sides, is my first reaction. The Mavs open up cap space, and for the Celtics, they get a guy who was pretty good in Miami and has since disappointed in Philly and then Dallas. The big thing for Richardson, I think, is the threes, because when they're not going in, and if you're not a three-point shooter in the NBA and you're like a wing player and you're not a star, then it's pretty tough. And he had a couple of years in Miami where he's 38, 36%, but then since then, with the 76ers, it was 34%, and with the Mavs, it was 33% on 4.5 attempts. And without that, he is probably not a very good player. So three-point shooting is going to be massive. The Celtics aren't a team that need a lot of three-point shooting, but you need to be able to space the floor. So that'll be a big thing. Apart from that, I think he gives them good depth on the wing. I think that's something of need of the Celtics, something they struggled with last season. They're throwing out guys like Semi Ojeleye and Grant Williams. And no offense to those guys, but they're probably not the players you want to be playing. And now they have Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Fournier, Josh Richardson. I mean, that's quite a nice wing rotation with Horford and Robert Williams at center. Guards, they have Peyton Pritchard, Marcus Smart. So I think that definitely helps them rotation-wise. And you're adding another solid player for free on an expiring deal. So in that sense, I like it. I think he's a solid defensive player. He just can get a steal a game, can guard wings. He's 6'5", but he plays a little bit bigger than that. I think defensively he's really solid. Then offensively, as I mentioned, the three-point shot, but we'll see if the Celtics can get him doing a little bit more, because when he was really thriving in Miami, he was doing a little bit more on ball, averaged 4.1 assists in his last season with them, and since leaving Miami, that's gone down to 2.9 and then 2.6 last year. So maybe the Celtics want him doing a little bit more on the ball. There is potential for him maybe bringing it up and getting them into their sets with Brown and Tatum. I think I like it because the Celtics do need a little bit of playmaking, and to have someone who's bigger than a normal guard, can play make a little bit, and is a solid defender, I think is something they need. If we think of how this could go wrong, I think the three-point shooting, as I mentioned, is the biggest thing. The opposing teams are just able to ignore him and collapse on Brown and Tatum. And then defensively, he's not great. He's not big enough to guard the bigger wings. He's not quick enough to guard the smaller guards, and he just isn't useful and is eating $11 million of salary cap space. But I think the upside of maybe his three-point shot works out where he's at least league average, like 36%, can give you a little bit of playmaking, can give you, some solid, like a solid 12, 14 points a game, probably off the bench. And yeah, is a good defender for them. I think that's worth the risk. And I think this is a good move for the Celtics. Like, if I was grading it, I'd say like a B, because they get another wing player and they don't have to give up anything except for the trade exception, which expires if you don't use it. And then for the Mavs, I also think this is it's pretty good that they are able to get off of Richardson's contract, because he had a player option and they probably didn't want to take on his money and have him eating the salary cap space. Yeah, just confirm that the Celtics are acquiring it with their $11 million trade exception. Yeah. And the Mavs create an $11 million exception themselves, which maybe they could use, but I think they're more going for the cap space here and being able to maybe go after someone like Lowry in free agency or DeRozan, because this is really the Mavs' last chance before Luka's extension kicks in and they just don't have any more cap space. So this is really their last chance to sign a star free agent. I think they definitely could. They also have to debate whether they want to bring back Tim Hardaway Jr. in free agency, which for them it's sort of Tim Hardaway Jr. or someone else, like a Lowry. So we'll see what they do there. Josh Richardson just wasn't great for the Mavs. The 3-point shot wasn't working. Didn't feel like the coaching staff trusted him, and he just wasn't giving them anything offensively. And then defensively, he was just average. And, looking back, the Seth Curry trade, the Mavs will definitely regret that. But they've moved on from it, and I think they can make up for it with a good signing in free agency. So, Mavs aren't losing too much because Richardson wasn't great for them, and they're opening up some salary cap space. But anyways, I like this move for the Celtics overall, and I think it's just sort of like a neutral move for the Mavs. But anyways, thanks for watching the video, guys. Leave a like, subscribe to this channel for more NBA content, and we'll see you guys next time.